Hey, this is Mike, and it's time for another Halftime Mike podcast. So excited to be with you today and excited about the topic. I'm going to go through a lot of information today because I want to help you continue to grow what you do on your website and capture leads, improve your SEO. So I'm going to go through 14 tips today, okay? So a number of those are going to be in the digital marketing arena, and a number of those are going to be in the SEO arena. And some of these, the whole goal is to make sure you're sharp on these. I mean, sometimes you've heard these before, and you just need to come back to the basics, take a look at these pieces, all right? So that's what we're going to dive into today, 14 of them, all right? But before we get going, just want to make sure you know about my newest book, all right? So I got my newest book out. It's on my website in the store area, but it's also available on Amazon.com. Making the miles count, living beyond the daily grind. How many of us just get stuck in the routines and, at the end of the week, we're like, oh gosh, ready for the weekend, we hate Mondays, that type of thing. And but we don't do anything to change it. We just keep going through the daily grind. So this is a mindset book. It's to help you evaluate, stop, check your mindset, and it does that in a short, quick fashion that is geared to be done in 21 days. All right, so 21 days to living beyond the daily grind, to adapt to a life of impact. And I think that, getting beyond the not looking forward to Mondays is about having something larger in mind, something that we feel like we're making a significant contribution, a lasting contribution. We are developing a legacy. So that's what this book is about. I want to make sure that you're aware of that. Again, it's available on my site and also available on Amazon.com. Just search Mike Gingerich and Making the Miles Count, and you got it. All right. Okay. So with that, I want to dive in and take a look at a number of pieces that you should be taking a look at on your website. So first thing first, some tips in terms of digital marketing strategy. So digital marketing strategy is you're trying to online drive people to your website, make sure your website is ready for them and in a positive way is able to grow leads, give people what they want, build trust. And so the first thing you need to do is focus on mobile. Why you want to do this is because over 50% of internet users now are using their smartphone to access the web. All right, so they are using this device more than they're using a desktop computer. So you want to have your campaigns also work on desktop, but focused on the mobile user experience, what's happening there. So that means the content, it's got to be mobile responsive, but also any lead capture, any pop-ups, all those things have to work well on a mobile device. You want to think through that first from the mobile perspective. So that's number one. Okay. Number two is to make engagement easy. Make engagement easy. Okay. This is how they can contact you, how they can comment, where you're at on social media. These are the key pieces from your website that you want to use to enable them to give you feedback, to ask you questions, that type of thing. So make engagement easy. Think through your call to actions, how those pieces are set up on your sites, and what the mechanisms. Don't make it too difficult for them to give you feedback. Don't make it difficult for them to fill out too many fields in a form, all that kind of thing. Make it simple for engagement. So take a look at your site from that perspective. Maybe have someone else who is not used to your site, a friend who's outside the industry, take a look at your site and say, if I wanted to ask a question, I wanted to get in touch with you, how easy is it to do that? So make engagement easy. Third thing is, for your marketing campaigns, I want to recommend that you use designated landing pages. Okay, these are different from your actual website pages. You might have product pages, you might have service pages, but when you're running campaigns where you're trying to grow leads or you're trying to sell products and you're trying to drive traffic there, you want to use dedicated landing pages. And the reason you do this is because a dedicated landing page is typically simpler than your website page. Your website, any page you go to, let's just say you go to a product page on your website, coming back to my book, you go to this page, and you go to the shopping cart. It's within my site, so you still have the navigation of the site, the heading, all the different places where you can go. You have the footer, all the different places where you can go. That's a web page, as opposed to a landing page where you come to that page and it's just focused on that. It's stripped down. It's not all the navigation links. There's not all the footer links. There's not sidebar links. Those types of pieces. That's what a landing page is. So when you're trying to get people to sign up, whether it's for a webinar or it's a product and it's a specific campaign that you're trying to drive traffic from somewhere, maybe you're running Facebook ads, Google ads, consider using a landing page as the destination for those. All right, that's the third thing. Fourth thing is that you need to test, monitor, test again. So again, put these things up, watch the analytics, watch what's happening. You should be taking a look, on the mobile. You can take a look at Google Analytics, and you can see from a mobile perspective how long users are staying on the website. All right, from an engagement perspective, again, time on site is important. And then, landing pages. Are they submitting the forms? Are they following through? What's your rate when you make adjustments in that? Test, monitor, test again. So take a look at those pieces, and that's going to be important to your success. All right. So now I also want to move into the SEO tips for your website and run you through some of these pieces again. Again, maybe you've heard of some of these, but it's time to review those and then think through, are you doing this on your website? And why is SEO important? Again, this is how you rank, in search engine results. Somebody's typing in a search for a certain product. Will your website come up in that search? Okay, this is not about looking for your company name. You should come up for your company name, right? But this is about your product or your service, and they don't know your name. Will you come up? And this is what people are still doing. That there are loads of searches done on Google per month, and that's the dominant search engine. So you want to have your site optimized and doing the right things, perform well, so that it is ranking well. And what we want to do to take a look at that is to make sure that we are looking at the user experience, number one. Okay, now you think of user experience, maybe how is that helping me in search engine results? Well, Google actually does take a look at some of those factors. Remember when I mentioned the mobile site responsiveness? Well, that is a user experience thing, and Google actually takes a look at your site first from a mobile perspective, and if it's not, they're dinging you in the search engine rankings. So if your site is not working well on a mobile device, Google lowers your rank in search results. Okay, so be aware of that. SEO accounts for 64% of all web traffic. So it is the dominant way that people will find you online, even if you're running ads. It is still the dominant way, and so this is why it's important to take a look at that. Number one, invest in keyword research. All right, so keyword research is what terms you think you have a company, you have products, and then within those products there is a way that people are searching for those products, and that's the keywords that they are putting in. And so you want to do research on the keywords that consumers, those who are going to inquire about your product, are using in their searches, so that you can rank for those. Now there's tools then that help you do that, and Ubersuggest is one of those. Ahrefs.com is another great tool for those. I use another tool called SERPstat to help me with those things. So those are three right there that help you do keyword research, and it can help analyze your site. It can analyze a competitor's site, and you can put in keywords, and it can give you the number of searches for those, and also related keyword phrases that you might want to consider based on less competition, those types of pieces. So invest in time in keyword research. You need to use tools to do that. I just gave you three of those there again. They were Ubersuggest, Ahrefs.com, and SERPstat. So if you need help with those, you can reach out to me. That's something that our team can provide as a service to help you take a look at that. What are the keywords that you think you should rank for, is that actual, and what's the data show that you should be focusing on there. All right. Next is, and this is the baseline, provide great content regularly. Provide great content regularly, okay? So you can't just have a website with a shopping cart and a bunch of products and assume that that's going to do it. Google's taking a look at, are you publishing regularly, weekly, you know? And are you putting new content on? You say, well, what do I do for content? Well, great resource-rich content. You might have products, but how do you use those products? What questions people have about those products? Answer those things. What's happening? You know, what are trends? What are ways? What are tools that you can use to maximize that product? All those kinds of things. Provide great content. Be the expert. Be the resource. Be the go-to. Answer the questions that people have. How do you know what they're asking? What you should write about. Think through the questions that you get on your website, or that people call in with, or that you have when you're sitting across from a potential customer. What kind of questions they have. Answer those, but answer those in a blog post. Okay, so that's how you can do provide great content. And I'm going to recommend that you need at least 4 blog posts a month, 1 a week, as a starting point. Sometimes 2 can be of value there as well. Then a next thing that is helpful in that process is to take a look when you have a blog post, to optimize that blog post. Okay, so you need to evaluate for that blog post, you know, the title, and then there's a meta description that you can add in there. That should be, you know, between longer than 50 words, not more than 300 words. It should be related to that, because when you do a Google search and your blog post comes up, what Google has is the title of that, and then it outlines the meta description below that. So this is Google is reading that, is using that, and that is something that you want to have optimized. It's another factor that Google evaluates in ranking your blog post in the search engines. Now, staying with that blog post, we've got a keyword phrase rich title. We've optimized the meta description, and then we have to optimize the headings and subheadings. Okay, so you should break your blog post down. Maybe you've got 6 key points. So each of those is a heading for each of those areas, and those should be H2 tags. Okay, so that's you have the options to create different font sizes within your, but they're set. So you can do a normal paragraph, you can do an H1, H2, H3. Your H1 is your title, but H2 should be your headings. And if you have a subheading below that where you break it into, you know, A, B, and C, that can be an H3, but use those and optimize those subheadings with related keyword phrases. All right, so continuing on with that blog post, you should have some images, some videos in that blog post, because people are visual. They need to be able to scan the content as they're going down through the blog post. They see an image. That image should be a great visual for them. But behind the scenes, what's helpful for search engines like Google is that you have the alt text identified with the keyword phrase. So, you know, people often will take a picture with their phone. They're going to use that. That's fine. It's an HD image, but you need to change the title of that image and change the alt text. Otherwise, it's, you know, IMG 70642.jpg, and that does absolutely no good when you could be optimized for a keyword phrase in the title and in the alt text for that image. For videos, again, if you're embedding a YouTube video, the title should have it, the description should have it, and you should use tags with that. Okay, let's stick with that blog post and go further in that. That blog post should have some links. Build links. It should have links internally within to other pages in your website. This is where, you know, you might link to that product shopping cart. So now you're talking about these are the best uses for the product and how to maximize use of it, but they ultimately want to buy it. You need to link to it. That's an internal link, linking inside your website. Every post you have should have some internal links in it, and ideally it should have some external links in it. So maybe there's a third-party resource site. As you can say, well, here's an example of where our product is in use, and you can see how they're using it here. And you go to somebody else's website, and you have that go out. So that's an external link. Those external links ideally are, quality, high-ranking sites, and but you want to build links internally. And then if you can have quality sites out there that link to you, so sites that rank high in the search engine rankings, if you can have them talk about you and link to you, a testimony or something like that, that is ideal. So link building is important. Now, let's see, page load times. All right, this is important for SEO. Google's taking a look at this. You don't want to have a site that is taking a super long time to load, okay? That is not going to be a helpful thing. And so be aware of this is kind of goes back to the way your site is built. You might need to talk to your web developer on that. This is something that we do for people, and that is to improve site speed. So it's going to be important that your site loads quickly, and that generally if it's not loading within 3 to 4 seconds, that's going to be a problem. You're going to get dinged in search engine rankings on page load times. So because people after 3 or 4 seconds they get distracted, they will not wait for it to load. What is most annoying is when you're sitting there and the page is blank, you can see it's spinning and it's not loading, people leave. Of those who leave, 80% of those never return. So page loading speed is an important consideration. Also, you should be taking a look at boosting your SEO with social media use, okay? So you have a great blog post, you should be sharing that out on social media. You should be trying to share tips from that link back to the article. And if someone's retweeting that, thank them for that. If somebody is commenting on Facebook, make sure you're responding to that. That helps grow your audience, people that are seeing that can drive more traffic back to that. So that's how social media can work with that. If you need more on that piece, I got a book on that one. You can find that on Amazon. That's Game Plan for Social Media Lead Generation that I wrote. And that one dives a lot more into detail on how you use social media to grow your web, all right? To grow your website ranking. All right, so let's keep going as we wind down here. Technical elements, and you want to focus on 4 elements here. Number 1 is your site should have HTTPS migration, so it should be using a SSL certificate. It means that it's secure and it's using encryption on that. That's a search ranking factor, and you want to have that set up and ready to go on your site now. Even if you're not doing any kind of e-commerce, your site should be HTTPS secure. Chrome identifies sites that aren't announced as not secure, and that can be a barrier to trust as well, so make sure your site is. You should have things like 301 redirects in place, so if they can't find content, it's going somewhere else. Consider a caching system so that your page loads are faster, or go further and do a content delivery network, a CDN type of web hosting where your site is cached in different servers around the world, and so it pulls if somebody from Switzerland tries to access the site, it pulls from a European server and then it loads it quickly there, that type of thing. Let's see. Then again, I've talked about this before. I said test before, and now I want you to measure and analyze. So you need to have some metrics in place to review this. There are tools that you can do this. Google Console, Google Page Speed Insights. You can take a look at your site with Marketing Grader, those types of tools that can help you evaluate your site and give you kind of a score on that. SERPstat also has one in there. I mentioned that one before. So hopefully this digital marketing tips and SEO pieces was something that you can take seriously, that you can evaluate. Maybe some of these you've heard before, but it's time to take a look at stopping and saying, am I doing those? If not, what actions do I need to take? All right, so that's the list. Come on over, read the full blog post to go through that list again and evaluate those. If you have questions on those, reach out to me and let me know. So that is what I wanted to cover with you today. This was Mike, the Halftime Mike podcast. Thanks for being with me. Have a great day.